expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. Want to make you a more informed consumer by listening to the show, consumerqb.com. You can see all of our links to our partners and the previous shows, consumerqb.com. And of course, download the podcast, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. You can see our podcast and previous shows there, and consumerqb.com. This is a great show lineup for you today. We got Alex Lima, Blackbelt Fitness and Martial Arts. You've heard Alex on the program. Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, as well as attorney Anthony Rickman. Going to be talking about the gun bill, red flag laws, Brian Laundrie case, kind of an update on that, the J6 and the plot to kill Kavanaugh in the Supreme Court, some of the hypocrisy going on with our legal system at the highest levels coming up here on the program. Want to let you know about a hot listing here in Tampa Bay, 2803 Safe Harbor Drive in Tampa. This is one of our listings that we've got at $1.159 million. Beautiful home, gated community. I love this neighborhood as well. It's one of those neighborhoods that have the majestic oak trees just lining the streets there. 2803 Safe Harbor Drive, 5,253 square feet. And a gorgeous estate-style home right here in Tampa Bay. Now, it's located at the Estates at White Trout Lake. You got a spiral staircase as well to the second floor, elevator. Beautiful property, 2803 Safe Harbor Drive in Tampa. And you can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, let's jump right into it. We got Anthony Rickman in the house, the rickmanlawfirm.com. Welcome in.
Brandon, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming. Let's jump right into it. This gun bill confusing a lot of people.
Yeah, hot off the presses this morning, the Supreme Court actually passed a ruling today that upheld and supported the rights of individuals to carry firearms, specifically in those states that were restricting the rights of normal, law-abiding citizens from carrying guns. New York, Chicago, states like New York, Chicago, states like California, that had restrictive gun laws. Clarence Thomas authored an opinion today that prohibits those states in many ways from stopping people from lawfully carrying their firearms.
Yes.
In those states, specifically in New York, what happened in those states is that in order to get a gun, to carry a gun, to get a concealed carry permit in New York, for instance, you had to answer questions as to why you needed that gun. You had to tell
none of your business.
Yeah, exactly. Tell the state of New York why you need a gun. Well, I need the gun to protect my fortune and my money. So now everybody knows you're applying for a gun. You got it for a reason. Right. But no, what the Supreme Court said is those rules, those regulations violate the right to carry. It's an unlawful restraint. And it is. You shouldn't have to be able to tell the government why you are doing what you can lawfully do.
Yeah.
Possess a firearm. That's what the Second Amendment provides.
Unbelievable. And
luckily we have a court now that is construing and reading the Constitution the way it's written. They are looking at the four corners of that text. They're looking at the text of the Constitution. They're applying it to the facts. And they are saying that this is what the law is.
Yeah.
The three dissenters talk about gun violence, this and that, and they're trying to legislate from the bench when that's not what the Supreme Court is supposed to do.
Exactly.
The Supreme Court is supposed to analyze the Constitution, analyze the document, apply the law to a set of facts, and make a ruling based on the constitutionality. And what the Supreme Court did here is they upheld the rights of regular citizens to possess firearms. And obviously we know what's interesting about those states. The states with the biggest restrictions on guns have the largest amount of gun violence.
The highest rates of violence. Unbelievable. You
because
see it all
law-abiding citizens can't protect themselves.
Exactly.
And what the Supreme Court says is that the law-abiding citizens should have the right to carry a firearm for self-defense. Because we know the bad guys are going to get the guns the wrong way.
Yeah.
Good guys trying to get guns the right way
exactly.
are the ones who are being restricted and they're the ones who are being killed.
Yeah. I mean, how smart were our forefathers? I mean, these guys, man, to have the foresight to see this, to write specific language, and then, they come in and say, oh, well, it's not absolute. You can't have a cannon.
Well, look, if citizens didn't have the right to possess firearms, we'd be speaking a different type of language. Same language, but a different sound of it. We'd be speaking Old English, because this is why we have a country. Yeah. Because our citizens had the right to carry firearms, the right to establish militias. We're not saying the militias like they're accusing January 6th of. Exactly. We're talking about the traditional militia and the right of the citizens to possess guns.
Yeah.
And what we're going to see eventually down the road with this Congress that we have, with the knee-jerk reactions that we have, is an ultimate battle. We're going to see Congress trying to limit and continue to trying to restrict the rights of normal citizens to carry firearms. and the Supreme Court now being asked if what Congress is doing is unconstitutional. One of the biggest examples I think is going to come down the pipe down pretty soon is going to be these red flag laws we talk about.
Right.
Where what the Congress is trying to do now is pass a federal law that says if you have ever been convicted of domestic violence, or if you ever had a restraining order or an injunction placed against you, it ties what they call the boyfriend loophole. If you've ever had a restraining order for dating violence or domestic violence against you, you will never be able to possess a gun for the rest of your life. So let's say a kid who's in college at 18 years old, living with his girlfriend, gets in a domestic incident, doesn't know better, doesn't hire a guy like me to go fight it, walks into court, agrees to an injunction. Hey, I don't want to see her anyway. She doesn't want to see me. I'm going to agree to this injunction. 25 years old, he goes to try and get a gun license. He's never going to get it if this law passes. Right. And that's a restriction on the Second Amendment. And it segues in what I do. If you've been accused of a crime, a domestic violence crime, right? Say the alleged victim doesn't want to prosecute. Doesn't mean the state isn't going to pick up that charge. Right. Doesn't mean the state isn't going to compel her to come and testify against you. Yep. Let's say you get served with an injunction and you decide, hey, you know what? I may not get an attorney. I don't want to see her. She doesn't want to see me. I'm just going to agree to this injunction. Agreeing to this injunction, or an injunction, a domestic violence injunction, or agreeing to accept a plea on a domestic violence related charge, will now potentially affect your right to carry a firearm for the rest of your life.
Are you admitting guilt at that point?
Well, you are. The courts will find that as an admission. Yeah, and it's not even. And we're talking about two other standards of proof. To be convicted in a criminal case, you need proof beyond reasonable doubt. You're charged criminally with battery. Right. But in an injunction, all you need is clear and convincing evidence, a much less standard of proof. Right. Clear and substantial evidence this happened. Right. That's different than a criminal case, so it's even a much lesser standard. And unfortunately, when I see these injunctions, injunction meaning a restraining order, someone, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, they file a restraining order, I'm in fear, I'm afraid. A lot of judges tend to grant these injunctions. All you need is 2 alleged acts of violence, one of which occurred in the last 6 months. Yeah. Or one continued pattern of stalking, or one alleged sexual violence. And if you agree to this injunction now, without counsel, without fighting this case, you agree to it, you could be, hamstrung your entire life from doing a lot of things. Yeah, and that's crazy, and that's something where I could see the mindset as you're laying it out there. Oh yeah, I don't want to see her anyways, and people would admit to that, but then you're admitting guilt. You're putting that on your record, kind of like your report card. You're following you around, and that's a challenge for people. So let's keep moving here because I want to cover a lot of ground. Unless no, go ahead. Yeah. So the Gillum, the story about Gillum. I mean, and this guy was 32,000 votes away from being the governor of the state of Florida. Yeah. And thank God, look what DeSantis has done for the state. Yes. I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, he has done a great job. Unbelievable. It may be President DeSantis, sometime very soon. Could be. But at least for this cycle, he's going to be hopefully Governor DeSantis again. But look, let's call it what it is. This guy was very close to being governor, and then right after that, we saw while it was going on. I mean, look, this is the guy who was running for governor with a federal investigation going on for what he did while he was the mayor of Tallahassee. Mayor of Tallahassee. Yeah. Does that say something? Does that speak about Tallahassee and the swamp around the? Look, I went to Florida State. We're going to keep that out of it. Okay. So, well, hey, it is. Look, connect some dots. No, 100%. Tallahassee is a small. People don't realize it's a small world. Yeah, you get half of the population is basically Florida State students, and once they're gone, it's old swampy Tallahassee. We know exactly what it is. You're 100% right. And it does. The politics of Tallahassee is that backroom stuff, and that's what we saw here with Gillum. Taking money for campaign financing, taking money, using it to go on trips, not reporting those trips, taking gifts, trips, $5,000 tours in New York, Hamilton tickets, and eventually, the Department of Justice came down on him. And this investigation was going on while he was governor. While he was running for governor, he tried to downplay it. DeSantis hit him with it, and ultimately DeSantis was right. He was indicted by, a liberal-leaning Department of Justice. Right. Okay? They look behind the politics. So you have to credit Department of Justice. Well, that is a credit. Wow, that's great. Of going that route. And that's not even talking about, the fact that he was found, in his own, vomit on the floor after having a bender. That was in Dade County, wasn't it? Dade County. So this is a guy who obviously has his issues, and now he's in federal court. And look, he's denying, guilt, entered a plea of not guilty. That's his right. Yeah. And ultimately, we're going to see how it plays out. Right, exactly. All right, we're talking with Anthony Rickman here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, the Rickman Law Firm, one of our local area expert contributors on the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping educate the consumers out there, and especially in the criminal defense space. Anthony has been doing. How many years have you been in business now? So I started in 2005. I was a prosecutor first. I did a few years at the state attorney's office here in Hillsborough County under Mark Ober. Then went out into private practice. So I've been doing defense work since 2007.
Yep.
So I've been defending people across the bay, across the state, and I have clients actually nationally charged, arrested, accused, charged, being investigated for criminal offenses.
Yeah.
And my practice isn't just after you've been arrested. If you're under investigation, and we've always talked about being proactive. If you think you're being investigated, it's important to consult an attorney right away.
Right.
If law enforcement's talking to you, it's important to consult an attorney. I know we're going to talk about the Brian Laundrie case. Your right to remain silent. That's one of the things that his family invoked. That they're being sued for now.
Yeah.
And when you talk about, when law enforcement talks to you, you'll hear it saying anything you say can and will be used against you.
Right.
And they mean that.
They
because
mean it.
even if you think it can't be used against you.
Right.
If law enforcement has a theory, if the government has a theory,
Yep.
they're going to use your statements to support that theory.
Yeah.
Even if you think
I was watching
that
one
it's to help you.
of those Netflix shows, and you can clearly see like they're coercing these guys. Oh, don't lie to me again. You've been lying to me. And the defense, I think it was, they said, you know how many times you said you called him a liar during that 1 hour interview? 115 times.
Well, you want to talk about liars? The Constitution. I was in a deposition one time, and I was cross-examining a detective who kept telling my client they had all this evidence and they had nothing, and everything I hit him with, well, isn't it true you don't have this? Isn't it true you don't have an identity? You told him this. You told him that the witness called him the boogeyman.
Wow.
And he gets up, he's so angry, he throws a chair, he goes, the Constitution of the United States says to me that I can lie. I can lie to someone I'm questioning. I have no obligation to tell this person the truth, and that's true.
Wow.
Law enforcement does not have to tell you the truth.
Wow.
When they interrogate you, you waive your right to remain silent, you agree to sit down and talk to them. They do not have to tell you the truth.
Wow.
They don't have to tell you don't have evidence.
I've not heard that before.
And the Constitution allows them to do it as part of their investigation powers.
Interesting.
And people don't realize it. Look, how many times have you heard about these, the sex stings, the trafficking stings? What did they ask? I saw a prostitute. Tell me you're not a cop. I'm not a cop.
Right.
It happens all the time.
Right.
They can lie. And that's not entrapment.
Right.
So when people think that the police are telling you, it'd be a lot easier for you if you just cooperate and tell me everything, I won't charge you. It's not true.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important to have an attorney at all stages of your case. And my cases range, again, anything from a DUI to DUI manslaughter. From a battery to an aggravated battery. I handle homicides, murders, first degree, second degree, gun charges, violent offenses, and also financial crimes. Federal and state white collar crimes.
Well, I want to take a quick break there, and that's good stuff from Anthony Rickman, the Rickman Law Firm. We're going to come back, and I want to talk with Anthony about January 6th. We're going to talk about the plot to kill our, Supreme Court. They're letting them get away with this, and there's some stuff that people need to know about that. So we're going to talk about that. Anthony Rickman coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group. And you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the real estate quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. Any of our listeners out there, we'll offer you a 2% listing for the first 3 callers that reach out to the hotline, 813-917-1894. Call or text the hotline, 813-917-1894. Also, a great opportunity for folks out there looking for a part-time gig, maybe a side hustle, is Keller Williams Real Estate School, powered by Kaplan. Reach out if you'd like more information on how we have a free real estate school for you, online class, get licensed, and start referring business in, or maybe make a new career. 813-917-1894, consumerqb.com for our syndicated radio and TV show on 80 outlets worldwide, consumerqb.com, or our real estate website at platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com. And please follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram, Twitter, Getter, and check out our YouTube channel, Brandon Rhymes Realty. Make it a great day. Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show. Have you desired more income and more freedom in your life? Now is your time. Keller Williams Realty has just launched our own real estate school, and you can get licensed for free. I'm Brandon Rhymes, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And for the first 3 people who reach out, I will personally coach you. 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. ConsumerQB.com. ConsumerQB.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I've got a hot listing at 9031 122nd Avenue. This is a $4.5 million listing of mine. Commercial property development play, 15.56 acres. So please alert any of your friends, entrepreneurs, developers, folks in the business, real estate or not, looking to commercially develop this property. 9031 122nd Avenue. It's right off of I-75 and Fowler Avenue at Old Morris Bridge Road and 122nd. Great development play, $4.5 million listing, 9031 122nd Avenue in Tampa. And you can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, back in studio, we got Anthony Rickman here, criminal defense attorney. Let's jump right into it. Supreme Court plot to kill Kavanaugh, and all the protesting going on, and then you've got the flip side of that is proving that people walked into the J6 and there's federal people involved with that, and they kind of opened up the gates and said, "Here, come in, let's set you up." Yeah,
well, look, luckily the Department of Justice has done the right thing as it relates to this individual would-be assassin. They've indicted him, and they're going to prosecute him. But we really shouldn't even be there.
Right.
Because if the Department of Justice was enforcing the laws that were already written and are contained within our federal guidelines and statutes, then the people protesting outside the houses of the Supreme Court justice would be in jail the same way the January 6th people are in jail and being prosecuted for entering the Capitol. Because there is a federal law that prohibits individuals from protesting at the houses of Supreme Court justices.
Good.
And it's happening every day, and nobody is enforcing that law.
Right.
Why is the Department of Justice not arresting individuals protesting outside the homes of the Supreme Court justice? And it's not just, and it's not peaceful. They call it peaceful because nobody's hurt, but sitting in front of a Supreme Court justice home with covered in blood, with babies and her
hands
families
zip
and
tied together or something like that. It's crazy.
That may be peaceful, but you're disturbing the peace of this justice.
Right.
And the justices are appointed for a lifetime to be absent political influence, absent influence of people. And what these people are trying to do is they're trying to terrorize, intimidate, and influence these justices, and in the worst case, kill them.
Yeah.
Because in their mind, in these sick people's minds,
they would be hailed a hero.
They would be hailed a hero, but not only that, Biden gets to appoint a liberal person to take their spot.
Oh, exactly.
And that's what's disgusting, and that's why these Supreme Court justices need protection. And then we have people like AOC parading and going on to her social media and saying, I was the one who prevented these justices from getting protection. That's disgusting.
That is ridiculous.
They try to pass a bill that adds extra protection and provides services and security for these justices.
Wow.
And she and 7 other Democrats, the 7 most likely, and they were successful in failing to have that bill passed.
Wow.
And now these justices don't get the protections that she gets.
Yeah, unbelievable. And there's the same people that say, take the guns. I got my private security. We're talking with Anthony Rickman here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, the Rickman Law Firm, the rickmanlawfirm.com, criminal defense attorney right here in Tampa Bay. And you think about, too, like the J6, the whole thing. It's like it's free publicity. It's the whole thing. They repeat all the talking points on all the MSDNCs in different places, right?
Well, look, I've had clients who have been involved in the process. We've talked about it. I have clients who, were being investigated for being part of that whole process. And, you see what's reaching here. And there's two prosecutions. One prosecution for the government and one, they say investigation, but really it's a congressional prosecution. And that's prosecution of Donald Trump. And they're doing it on a public stage. And the purpose of the January 6th committee was created with the intent of finding out why it happened and preventing it from happening again. That was the original intent. And I understand Congress has the right to conduct these investigations, but at what point in time is it investigating and when is it turning into grandstanding? When is it turning into, let's find out the root cause of this issue to stop it, and turning into a 2-month political commercial against Donald Trump?
Also with Navarro, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he had an executive privilege where he didn't have to go and sit in front of these guys, and they indicted him for it and made him look like, again, the perception, right?
And that's what it is. It's all about the perception. And look, this is really an indictment of Trump. This is a public, indictment of Trump, exactly. What he did, what he didn't do. And look, I don't think anyone is going to sit here and say that they justify the actions of those individuals who assaulted law enforcement officers.
Right.
As a conservative, I'm disgusted. You can't say you back the blue and then go and fight the blue.
Right.
Somebody who says, I was there because I support law enforcement. I was there because I support our president. I support the police. But then why are you at the police line screaming at that cop, cursing him out, throwing things at him?
Right.
There has to be a line drawn. Those are the people who should be prosecuted. Those are people who are being prosecuted.
They took it too far.
Too far. Not just too far. They committed crimes. And anyone who committed a crime, assaulting an officer, battering an officer, breaking things within Congress, within our house. That's our house. That's our House of Representatives.
Yep.
Okay. When you go in there with the intent to hurt somebody or break something, you should be prosecuted. But then there's that other section. The section of people who are there supporting a cause, supporting the President of the United States, supporting what they believe to be true. And they are being demonized for doing what they can constitutionally do.
Or shot in the head, Ashley Babbitt.
Well, look, and we talk about the deaths. Really, the only murder that really happened at the Capitol was that of Ashley Babbitt. The only death that occurred was Ashley Babbitt. And call it what? She was unarmed. She was doing what she shouldn't have been doing. She was in a restricted place. But is being in a restricted place the penalty death?
Right.
No.
And then they interviewed that cop that shot him, and he's giving his side. She's not able to give her side.
No, look, the video I think speaks for itself. She was doing what she shouldn't have done. She was aggressively in the Capitol, but at the same time, to stick a gun behind a door and pull the trigger without seeing what you're shooting at it, we see prosecutions for less. I've represented clients accused of less.
And look at the southern border, too, just to kind of bring this all back home. Southern border, ICE is not enforcing the rules, the laws on the books. Same thing, just the hypocrisy.
Eventually, those people are going to be naturalized, and eventually they're going to vote left. I mean, let's call it what it is.
Are they, right? I think
that's what they're trying to do.
That's what they're trying to do. But I think, look, if you look at a lot of the Central America, the Venezuelas, even Mexico, I mean, they have families, right? They understand in families. They believe in God. They have, So I think that's going to backfire. But
But what happens at the border? We talk about is the crime increases,
right?
And there are a lot of people are coming over here to do the right thing, to have better lives for themselves, but a lot of people aren't. Right. A lot of people are coming over here to commit crimes. A lot of them come over here and commit crimes.
Yeah.
And we have enough problems in our own country, their own people committing crimes.
Exactly.
So we do believe in strengthening the border. And, what we've seen is the border.
Some of it's going to be the dregs coming across. Like, remember the beginning of Scarface? Right? It's like, the dredge, the prisons.
And what people tend to forget also is that we have enemies all over this world.
Exactly.
And, what is the easiest way to come through our country is through a border like Swiss cheese, where you're walking right on
and
through.
Everybody knows it now. It's crazy.
We talk about Al Qaeda. We talk about Taliban. It happens. So,
10 seconds back to you. Yeah. Where you want folks to
find you? You can find me at the rickmanlawfirm.com. 813-999-0502. Arrested, accused, talked to by law enforcement. Don't wait. Contact me right away. Anthony Rickman, the Rickman Law Firm.
Yes, sir. Good stuff. All right. Coming up, we've got Fred Mew, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, Alex Lima, Blackbelt Fitness and Martial Arts as well on the program. We'll be right back after this short break. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram, Twitter, Getter, and all these social sites out there. And we'll be right back after a short break.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you've been listening to the phenomenal Brandon Rhymes, the Consumer Quarterback Show.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Five, four, three, two, one.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. We can do real estate deals in all 50 states, and we've got our $10 million listing in North Carolina, 530 Heaton Forest Road, 530 Heaton Forest Road. Beautiful property. This is 1,000 square foot estate style property, 19, almost 20 acres, a magnificent country estate in the mountains of western North Carolina. And the home features breakfast porch, patio, 4 fireplaces, cool mountain evenings, attached 2-car garage, 2-car carport, expansive stone driveway space as well, guest house as well. There's a separate beautiful guest house, 3 bedrooms and a sitting room, all on a 20-acre estate, 530 Heaton Forest Road, Cashiers, North Carolina. Golfing community, just a gorgeous property. You've got to see it and check it out online, platinummvpteam.kw.com. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, it just feels good. Hey.
All right, Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Welcome back to the show.
Hello, Brandon. How you doing?
Hey,
Haven't
buddy.
talked to you in a week or two.
Yeah, doing great. Thank you very much. Blessed and highly favored, and just trying to stay cool out here in this summer heat, man.
Stay cool. I don't know how you're doing it. I can't do it. I go out there, and my tape measure is in my hand, and it's catching my hand on fire. It's that hot out there.
Yeah, sure is, man. Getting there.
I watch our concrete people go to work in this stuff, and I say a couple of prayers, and then I realize I don't have to pray for them. They love it. They're out there. I think the hotter it gets, the better they work. It's amazing how well trained they are to work in this heat.
Yeah, it gets you get the muscles pliable, you get more flexible, you're loose, and get into the flow of the workday. Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Now, Fred, we'd like to talk about things affecting folks out there right now. Consumer discretionary spending is down. You've got challenges with inflation, gas prices, food. We've all heard it 1,000 times. But what's kind of your advice to folks out there?
Well, I would say, and I look at it from the eyes of a homeowner myself, I'd be very cautious about how you spend right now. Not that I don't want to sell a screen enclosure. Your priorities are what they are. What we have and what we offer are not mandatory items for the house. It's a pleasure item, basically. And realistically, I'm hearing a lot of apprehension right now with people spending. They're not as quick to sign the check as they were, say, 3 or 4 months ago. But I understand that. I've been doing this for many, many years, and I've seen the peaks and valleys, and we're going from the peak, we're going to the valley a little bit, and that's to be expected. Basically, the silver lining to anything, typically, Brandon, is at some point I believe materials will start to loosen up a little bit, and I think material prices may come down to a more manageable price range, which is not where they are now. And that's not just with our industry; that's with everything going forward. So I think with the economy sliding a little bit, I think we're going to see things come back to what I would call a more normal range. I hope it doesn't slide too much. I'm somewhat optimistic that it's going to drop off slightly and maybe maintain a normal level and not continue to drop as what we saw back in 07 and 08. I don't think we're going to go in that direction. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I want to ask you about the supply chain. Like what's happening with supply chain. We're going to look at the labor and just kind of see how small business owners are, navigating these challenging times. I know insurance costs are up for homeowners. Is that translating into, challenges for, self-employed folks out there? But yeah, the supply chain and getting the materials, getting things to the job site. What have you seen in that, Mark?
It's still not good. I sent 3 text messages this morning to people that have been requesting, basically a timeline on their product. And when I cannot get an answer from the supplier, I can't give the answer to my homeowner customers, and that's not the way that I like to operate. I like to be able to give them some type of a positive answer, and it's not there. And what I am finding is when I respond, and you have to respond, they are very understanding. Most people are extremely understanding based on the condition of society right now, because society is not in a very good position.
Yeah, exactly. And it's great that you have, folks that are understanding. And I think, on the contractor side too, the fact that you're communicating, keeping them abreast of the situation, let them know that, the expectations, that's what you've always talked about as well, Fred.
Sure. And I'm thinking in your industry, the saturation level is a lot different than it was a couple of months ago. Basically, people are not in a bidding war right now to buy the home. I don't think they're negotiating prices. I just know that homes are not selling and closing as fast as they were a couple of months ago, which is more of the norm. And as time goes on, I'm expecting things to just level out basically and come back to a realistic way of life. How about yourself?
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? See how the elections take place in November, start normalizing and getting a little check and balance going on. But yeah, I agree with you. The market has shifted. There's a shift in place. Happening right now. There's a shift where you've got inventory that's staying on the market a little bit longer. Now we are still getting multiple offers. I had a beautiful, depending on the type of home in the area, but yeah, 3-2 pool home, corner lot, great location in Pinellas County. Had multiple offers on it, and it went well above ask. But yeah, that's a little bit more the rare now. You're not getting 25, 30 offers. You're getting 5, 10, 15, and certain properties, and then other properties that you think might sell faster. Sometimes they don't. Absorption rates are changing, so the absorption rate has increased from in the 80s or in the 90s. Now you're down in the 80s. And then you've got in Pasco and Pinellas counties, you've got 16% more inventory than we had 30 days ago. And then also contracts are down. So the properties that have gone pending are down 4%. So again, not a huge number. People are still migrating to Florida because of some of these other states and their policies pushing people here, and of course many other reasons, the absence of a state income tax, the great weather, things of that nature. But yeah, you're still seeing that trend, and it is slowing down just a little bit, Fred.
Yeah, well, no matter what happens, I believe the northeastern people are still going to continue to migrate south. Because I'm from that area, and I know what goes on up there, and I still have friends and family up there. When they tell me the numbers, the taxing and the tax numbers, and oh my gosh, it's just so hard to believe at this point. Because when I left, it was nowhere near as bad, but it's really significant at this point. In New York City, if you don't make $150,000 a year, you can't eat.
Right. Yeah, it's challenging up there, man. The Northeast, and you got the crime factor too. A lot of crime. You're seeing crime in certain places, especially the big cities. Challenging times for people. If you just joined us, we're talking with Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, longtime friend of the program here, and he does a great job helping you plan your next project. So, talk a little bit about the planning process that you go through, Fred.
Okay, most homeowners that I deal with, they have an idea in their mind. Some do, some don't. Most of them do. I'll walk to the site and I drive to the site. I walk the site with them, and we discuss what they want. Obviously, ground elevations matter. In the city of Tampa, specifically South Tampa, setbacks are a significant issue that we have to respect, and tree locations. Tree locations are a big factor in the city of Tampa. So we go through all of that, and basically many questions come up upon the initial meeting, even if the person has the specs and the idea of what they want. From that point on, we put a plan together. 3 to 4 days later, I get a bid to the customer, and then we discuss the changes and the pricing, that kind of thing. So if the homeowner does not have a plan and just has an idea where they want the space, what do you call it? What do you call it?
That in-between space.
The in-between. I went blank for a minute there, sorry. So they want the in-between space because the inside's too cold, the outside's too hot. I go to the site and I take a look at the back of the house, and we start with a size or a budget number. It's a mathematical equation. I have to come up with something. And if they say they want to do the whole backyard, I'll say, well, now you're talking in this, and I'll throw a dollar figure out, and then we'll say, well, no, let's not go that far. Let's talk about something in the 20 to 30,000 range. See, now I've got something to work with.
Right.
And when I have that number, I can put a design together for them. And that's what I really enjoy about this business is the designing factor. I have to get from my mind to their mind the product. I have to let them see what I'm seeing. And, a lot of times with just photos and a sketch and this and that and the other, it's not the whole picture. The entire picture is what is the point I have to make to them, and that's what I enjoy specifically about this business. When they can understand exactly what I'm proposing, and it's sort of a, I guess it's a gift in a certain respect to be able to do that. However, I know a lot of guys in this business, they have the same gift. That's what we do. We design it in our mind, and we get that design into the customer's mind. And then, of course, it's just all about making the deal work at that point. One thing that really hurts us in today's world is when I give them the time frame, because it took them a year and a half to build and close on the house. Now when I tell them it's 6 to 8 months to build a screen enclosure, I see this look on their face.
Oh yeah,
it's not a pretty look, and,
oh boy,
and I feel their pain like you can't imagine.
Yeah.
But it's the way it is right now, and that's why I said the silver lining to this slowed economy may be the fact that things will move along a little faster, as I was used to in the past.
Potentially, we'll see. What's going on with the shipping, what's going on with the, the mandates, things of that nature. But Fred Mew, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, longtime friends of the program. You're a classic car guy too, Fred. Real quick on our outro here. What's your favorite vehicle?
Well, I've always been a Camaro guy. I like the poor man's Corvette, as they call it.
There you go, Camaro.
I've got a couple. I've got an original 1967 Super Sport, matching numbers car. I've had that since 1981. So
Nice.
Some kids never grow up.
Yeah, that was my first car. It was a Camaro. I had the T-tops, the beautiful red. Oh man, I loved it. It had the LT1 Corvette engine in it, the 350, and
there we go.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah,
we could talk cars all day.
A lot of fun till I wrecked it, but anyways, all right.
You do that? Shame on you.
I know why, right? Why? It was raining and it was South Florida, but Fred, thanks so much, man. Always a pleasure.
Okay. Yeah, I plan to bring one of them to your house on the 2nd.
Let's do it. Sounds good, buddy. Appreciate it.
Nice talking to you. Bye-bye.
Likewise. All right, Alex Lima coming up. Black Belt Fitness and Martial Arts. We're going to talk about, martial arts, self-defense, staying in shape, and maybe a little bit of nutrition as well. Alex Lima, Black Belt Fitness and Martial Arts, coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be right back.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, in studio with Martin Gramatica, that is, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer Super Bowl winner. Lifeguard Imaging, lifeguardimaging.com, saving lives through early detection.
Thanks for having me, Brandon. Yes, that's what we're doing at Lifeguard Imaging. You come in asymptomatic, and that's what we do. You're being proactive. You're coming in. We do a scan from the neck to the pelvis. It's a full body scan. It's a 3D image of every organ, and that's where 90% of the deadliest cancers are, in our mid region. So we can see everything. But for your listeners, we have a real good special. We have a $599 value, absolutely complimentary. They can come in for a coronary artery scan, which will give you their calcium score, 100% complimentary for your people.
Very cool. Hey, take them up on that offer, 813-917-1894. Call or text, complimentary scan, 813-917-1894, and check them out online, lifeguardimaging.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. Got a quick, tell me something good here.
Tell me something good.
All right, let's go to Flint Church to open laundry facility in a basement to help families in need. So the pastor at the Good Church in Flint, Michigan, is helping out the community. Pastor Leo Robinson. He said he started talking to the folks out there, and they said, food's great, but we need a place to do our laundry. And there was no laundromat in the 4-mile radius. So over 75% of our people depend on that public transportation. So they said, can you imagine bringing all your clothes, dragging your clothes on, going to the laundromat and back? So in an effort, they started built in the church's basement a laundry facility, and it's also linked to their studies linking kids not going to school. So they said in this article, 3-mile radius, they have multiple schools, but the counselor had mentioned that the one of the challenges was the kids would not go to school because they're closed. So that's shout out to Pastor Leo Robinson in Good Church in Flint, Michigan. Feel good story of the day. All right, we got Alex Lima, Consumer Quarterback Show guest as well, expert contributor, Blackbelt Fitness in martial arts. Welcome back, sir.
Brandon Rhymes, what's up, buddy?
Yes, sir. Thanks for coming on. And what are you seeing in your world, my friend?
Man, it's been a crazy life for me, but a crazy couple months, and specifically the last couple, especially in the last few weeks, have been just pretty intense. Had a lot of things going on. COVID rattled the world. We're still not fully done with it yet. It tried to take me out back in end of 2019 or whatever when it first dropped, and then it decided to come back around and try to get me again. But I'm out here sitting in the sun, man. I feel good. Went out today, did some things. Can't keep me down.
Nice, yeah, absolutely. Especially when you use the right protocol. That was the big misinformation in the beginning. It's like, oh no, ivermectin is horse dewormer. You can't do that.
Yeah, 100%. As you know, the audience doesn't know yet, but yeah, I did the I don't want to say the Rogan protocol, but it's just a funny little slang term we use for it. But yeah, dude, I utilized the ivermectin, and no lie. A couple days ago, I felt like I was dying. I mean, slightly exaggerated, but I felt completely awful. 103 plus fever, almost 104. Could barely get out of bed, and I was like, no, not this time. Because when I first had it, man, I was sick for over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And the recovery to get my lungs back to my fitness level was months. And I'm like, no, we're not doing this again. The first time around, I tried to do okay. I listened to what the doctor said. Stay hydrated, stay in bed, quarantine, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I do believe in quarantining. Stay away. Don't get others sick. But I was like, no, we're going to be more aggressive on the attack this time. So, yeah, man, jumped on the ivermectin and the other little, cocktail there. And
yep.
I feel great, bro. I'm ready to get back to training tomorrow.
Yep. It was sad to see what our country did to people. They ran them through the ringer and start putting them on ventilators. But anyways, yeah, so black belt fitness and martial arts. I love the idea of, getting martial arts in there, getting the jiu-jitsu workouts. I love the workouts. And, it's such a challenging thing too, because you're constantly evolving, you're constantly learning, trying to remember what you learned the previous, lessons. So it's challenges your mind, your body, your spirit, man. It's such a good workout.
It absolutely, and I think that's the thing that is what has kept me in martial arts for so long, other than the fact that I truly feel that it saved me, and I owe it as much as it's given to me. I owe the world to give it back. But yeah, man, it's a mental aspect to it like no other. Human combat, whether you're training for it or you're actually participating in it, it's a different beast. It's not like, and nothing against any other sport, but you're not facing any true danger when you're playing golf. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's still a mental, physical game, and you have to have strategy. But we're talking about a human chess match with physical repercussions. You're not just losing points. Like you're going to take serious damage if you don't know what you're doing.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the challenge. That's, I love that. I always kind of think about too, like my personal journey. I had, I was playing football my whole life, so I was a little bit, more aggressive than the average, I guess. But, you come around the corner and you lower your head, you hit somebody, you come up, make a tackle. That was one set of skills. But then you get into high school and it's kind of like you're going through puberty or all the different changes that people are going through at that 15, 16, 17-year-old age. And then, but when I wrestled, I started in middle school. I think wrestling, USA wrestling. We'd go to tournaments. My brother actually was a national champion in forgot if it's freestyle or the other Greco, but yeah, but the skill set that comes along with wrestling, and then of course that translates into grappling and MMA, but that mindset of, wow, I if there's somebody bigger, I could just take him to the ground and do this or that, right? I mean, I love that for kids, big time.
Oh, for everybody. So, when it comes to, wrestling, you did high school, whether you realize it or not, you were doing martial arts. For me, wrestling is a martial art.
Right.
Olympic boxing is a martial art. It is a form of a combat sport that you have to study and you have to progress in, But yeah, absolutely. For kids or adults or for elite level competitors, wrestling and grappling as a whole is an invaluable tool to have in your arsenal. Right. I've always said it. And I come from a striking background. I was a striker first. I wanted to just knock people out, kick them, keep them away.
Right.
And then I realized the power of grappling. And as soon as I did, I was like, the better wrestler in every scenario is going to at least dictate where the fight takes place.
Right.
Always, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and that's phenomenal in one-on-one situations, and a lot of times in self-defense situations, it is good to kind of clinch and get away, but you can't do the whole take them down to the ground, stay there on the ground, trying to work an arm bar or some fancy, submission with their friends standing around trying to stomp your head in. So there's a time and a place for everything.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And Blackbelt _fitness is the handle online, Instagram and other. Blackbelt _fitness. Alex Lima on the line with us here, Consumer Quarterback Show. What else are you seeing? What's big in the MMA world right now? I saw some stuff about one of the Paul brothers, I guess. What are you seeing? What's going on?
Well, I don't really count those clowns in the
exactly.
In the true world and MMA world. They're entertainment for sure, and what they do is combat. And so let me recant that a little bit, just slightly. Especially the I forget which one. I think it's Jake, the one that's been the one that's actually a little bit better at boxing.
Uh-huh.
That kid is at least taking it serious, and he trains. You
right.
know. And even though he's doing these exhibition matches and they're glorified and there's like little hidden rules where they can't knock the other guy out or something, whatever it may be, you're still out there taking legitimate hits from another human being. So it's still a combat sport.
Well,
but
I like Alex is the guy because it brings me to another topic where, they interviewed Dana White and he's saying, look, my guys can say what they want. We're not telling them what to say. And the guy from Arkansas, he's talking about why are we in Ukraine or why are we, talking about Ukraine. And if somebody comes into Arkansas, then, yeah, I'm going to fight. I'm going to stand for my family. I forgot that guy's name, but I liked his speech I saw the other day.
Are you talking about, is that Bryce Mitchell, the one that got the camo shorts?
I think that's him, yeah.
Dude, so, they have the deal with Venom, and Venom is in complete control over the fighters' uniforms. The only thing they can really do is, like, if you're a fighter, elite level fighters, the higher tier ones, obviously they have a little bit more choice, but you come in and they're like, okay, what color shorts? You want to design your shorts for the fight. And you're given like this template. And this kid, like every time was like, can I get some camo ones? And they're like, no, we don't make camo. And he became so popular that they finally dropped a set of camo shorts. He posts on Instagram and he goes, I finally got them. And then now he wears them every fight.
Can't lose with camo. I mean, that's people like that. It's a cool deal. Alex Lima, find him online. Where can they find you at, Alex?
You can look me up on all the social media at Blackbelt _fitness. I'm doing a lot of work with Title Boxing right now. There's a lot of great things in the works, man.
Awesome. Title Boxing, Blackbelt _fitness. Alex Lima, thanks so much, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
All right. Another great show. Anthony Rickman, Fred Muth, and Alex Lima. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another and be a force for good in the community. We'll see you next time. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rhymes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.